"Sacrifices must be made," were the last words of German designer Otto Lilienthal. He crashed on August 9, 1896. By borrowing hovering techniques from birds, Lilienthal learned how to fly a glider. This knowledge is used by today's glider. After Otto Lilienthal's fateful and tragic flight, the tradition of flying was never interrupted. The inventor incorporated many advanced ideas into the glider design, which are still in use. German flying man and aviation pioneer Otto Lilienthal pilots one of his pioneering gliders. Otto Lilienthal performs a planning test, 1895. The first certified Russian pilot Mikhail Efremov was trained at Henri Fourman's flying school. On March 21, 1910, the first public flight took place in Odessa. Sergei Yutakin, test pilot, aviation gastroller. He learned to fly on his own on a Fourman biplane. In 1912 he made a flight to St. Petersburg on a seaplane of his own design. Americans Wilbur and Orville Wright invented the first controlled heavier-than-air aircraft. The Wright brothers' glider crashed, October 10, 1900. First flight of Flyer, 1 on December 17, 1903, Orville piloting, Wilbur on the ground. Wright pilots a glider down a steep slope. Orville Wright with a glider. Wilbur Wright, with glider, September 19, 1902. The Flyer aircraft was the culmination of more than a decade of research and testing by the Americans Wright brothers. In Brazil, Santos Dumont is considered the inventor of the aeroplane. To this day, there is still a dispute about his superiority over the Americans, the Wright brothers. Alberto Santos Dumont has been called the selfless servant of the sky. He did not patent his Demoiselle aeroplane and allowed everyone to copy it. On October 23, 1906, French aviator Santos Dumont flew a plane, covering a distance of 60 meters at a height of 2 to 3. Aviator, inventor Igor Sikorsky. Aircraft designer Igor Sikorsky operates his machine. Aviator and inventor Igor Sikorsky. 1925, USA. Winston Churchill and his wife Clementine next to an early aeroplane at Hendon, 1914. Baroness Raymond de la Roche, known as the first woman in history to fly an aeroplane. Baroness Raymond de la Roche flew the Voisin brothers biplane 300 meters. Voisin biplane, France, 1907. A bomber triplane designed by the Voisin brothers, France. Louis Blériot, French inventor, aviator and entrepreneur, founder of the Blériot Voisin, with Gabriel Voisin, and Blériot Aeronautique Aviation companies. A German immigrant to the United States, Gustav Whitehead, claimed to have made the first manned flight a year before the Wright brothers in 1902. Prince Alexander Kutashev's aeroplane, 1910. Another Prince Alexander Kutashev's aeroplane, 1910. Racing pilot Lincoln Beechey and auto racing pioneer Barney Oldfield, USA. American pilot Lincoln Beechey flew in a business suit. American aviator Lincoln Beechey. He was called Master Bird, the man who owns the sky, for the stunts he performed. French aviator Louis Poulin won the Daily Mail Aviation Prize for the first flight between London and Manchester in 1910. Louis Poulin is one of the pioneers of French aviation. Orel Vliku's plane crashed. The pilot tried to be the first to fly across the Carpathians. Orel Vlejku tried to be the first to fly over the Carpathians in his aeroplane Vlejku No. 2, the pilot crashed to his death. Romanian pilot-engineer Orel Vlejku built the accurate, easy-to-fly aeroplane in 1912. Vinemon triplane, 1906. Searching for the shape of an aeroplane. Kaufman, 1910. Aeroplane, ringplan, of the French aircraft designer Zivadin, 1909. Searching for the shape of an aeroplane. Da Silva, 1909. Mr. Bellin's aeroplane, designed for the study of flight. Jean Doran's triplane, 1908. Stuntman Ormer Locklear does a handstand on the wing of a Curtiss JN-4D biplane in 1920. Hubert Latham in an Antoinette monoplane. Hubert Latham set all his records on the Antoinette monoplanes of French aircraft designer Léon Levavasseur. Hubert Latham, a pilot, attempted to fly across the English Channel in 1909. He missed the shore by only a kilometer. A week later, Louis Blériot made the crossing. It was later discovered that the engine had stalled due to poorly filtered petrol. French pilot Hubert Latham set a world record for the longest distance flown by an aeroplane, flying 156 kilometers without landing in 2.5 hours. Louis Blériot was the first person in France to receive a pilot's license. Louis Blériot created a number of successful aeroplane designs at the beginning of the 20th century. The designer's fate was unenviable. He ended his days in an insane asylum. Louis Blériot's flight across the Channel, 1909. One more photo of Louis Blériot's flight across the French Channel, 1909. Frederick Phillips multiplane with 200 separate wing surfaces, 1907. In the wind of the propeller. 1911, photographer, Jacques-Henri Lartigue. September 9, 1911. First postal flight. The flight of French aircraft designer Henri Fourman. Frenchman Henri Farman, a former bicycle racer, co-founded Farman Aircraft Factories with his brother Maurice. Henri Farman, center, near his aeroplane. The Foreman multi-purpose training aircraft. World record for the longest flight distance by inventor and aircraft designer Henri Fourman in 1909, France. The First and Last Voyage. Photographer, Jacques-Henri Lartigue. The beginning of the 20th century. The birth of aviation. A series of photos by photographer Jacques-Henri Lartigue between heaven and earth, France. The beginning of the 20th century. The birth of aviation. Thanks for watching. Please give like and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to write any comment. Take care, and see you all in my next video.